Okay, so today we're here with Noah. Me and Noah was in recovery together in a program. That's how I met him. He spent some time on the streets, and we're going to start with how he ended up on the streets and how it was for him on the streets and how his life is today. So go ahead, Noah.
So, my life's been quite the journey, I've been a drug addict for as long as I could remember. I started using when I was like 10, 11 years old. By the time I was 14, I was a full-blown drug addict and alcoholic. My drugs of choice was alcohol and cocaine. And, it was rough growing up, the way I was raised. I didn't have a lot of parent supervision. My parents just really didn't care. But going into my adult years, after I got out of the Army, I was dealing with a lot of issues that, people didn't really know about. Like, they didn't know about PTSD. Anxiety wasn't as big as it is now. I was dealing with depression. So I started using it. I started hitting the streets. Within a year of me getting out of the Army, my wife divorced me. My kids would refuse to see me. And I became homeless, living in the back seat of a Honda Civic with no bumper. And the first time I went to treatment was October 4th of 2014 to get off of opiates. And I've maintained off of opiates ever since then. But I started doing other drugs recreationally, like cocaine. Alcohol was a big thing for me because of things I was involved with and the things that I was doing to make money. And I lived in constant fear. I was couch hopping every month or 6 months on friends' couches. I would rent hotels for as long as I could stay there. And I would screw over anybody and anyone who would give me $1. And I lost a lot of friendships because of it. So fast forwarding, 2017, January 1st, 2017 is the first time I really got sober off of everything. And I was in this program called Serenity Street, which was a spiritually based men's program to help men get back on their feet, stay sober, and find God in the process. And a long time ago, I had a firm belief in God, but I lost that belief the more my addiction spiraled out of control. But I found God again through Serenity Street. Found a new career path that I absolutely love and have stuck with ever since. And then I stayed sober for about till 2020, and I relapsed. And this time was much worse. Within 6 months, I lost a house, lost my cars, lost my job, lost all sort of controlled functioning and ability to just do my thing, And anyways, I did that for a while until January 13th, 2022. Once again, I came to a crossroads in my life and realized I was not the man I wanted to be. The question that I asked myself was, am I the kind of man right now that I would want my kids to look up to? And the answer was no, it's not. So I went down to treatment, went to Maryhaven, stayed in their detox for about 16 days. Then I went to their 22-day residential program, stayed there for 65 days. And then I went into a program called Lighthouse Recovery, which it's a daily living program. You're required to go to groups 5 times a week, see a therapist, get on medications, and that's what I did, and I didn't focus on trying to get my job back right away. I didn't focus on those little things that everyone seems so important but quite trivial in the long run. What was important is that I stayed sober, that I started to do the next right thing, and I started working the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. I started going to meetings again. I got immediately into service work. I then, after that, started sponsoring guys once I finished the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. And ever since then, I also got really big into bodybuilding and lifting weights and exercising. So my recovery now is not centered so much around AA. Love the program, but I'm at a point in my life where I got to do bigger things in order to stay sober, like doing things like this interview. Still sponsoring guys. I'm actually currently going through my 12 steps again with my sponsor, calling my sponsor at least a few times a week, which really I should be doing that every single day, but I don't. However, service work is a huge opportunity to get out of yourself and to focus on other human beings. So one thing that I do every year is I actually head up the security for a concert called Soberfest, which is going to be September 3rd of this year. We got Colucci coming in and a couple of real big bands as well, and it's all free of charge to celebrate our recovery, to strengthen one another, and to help each other build. That's what I'm focused on today, is building other men to be better than what they currently are.
So give me some of your experiences, though, why you was living in that Honda. I want to hear more about that. Like, what are some of the things you had to go through every day when you was in that car?
You know, some of that stuff I just can't talk about. But some of the things I will tell you is, you know, I sold drugs. I ran drugs from Windsor, Canada to South Boston, Massachusetts. Also another few spots here in Ohio. I also would beat people up for money. Paying a crackhead to do what crackheads do, right? I wasn't a crackhead, I was a cokehead, actually. Gotta make a difference.
Same thing.
Same thing. Same fucking thing.
Right.
You know, I would have one person steal things from retail stores. I would then buy it from them at a discounted cost, and then I'd sell it back for what it was actually worth, minus a 20% profit. You know, I did a lot of bad things just to feed my addiction. And I hope that answers your question, Jared.
Did that go on for a long time, though?
Very long time.
So a couple years?
I pretty much did that as a kid, all the way up, off and on, until I relapsed.
Until the car broke down?
Until the car broke down.
And then you was like, what state was you in when that finally happened?
Which year?
Oh, so the Honda lasted you for a while, because, I mean, Hondas are good cars.
Yeah, I ran it up to like 550,000 miles.
So you just was out there, and then it finally gave out on you. And
the only thing I took care of was that damn car, because I knew without a car, I couldn't get my hustle on.
Right.
You know, so I made sure the car was well maintained. It's the only thing I did responsibly. But that's what I did for a long time, you know.
If you could go back in your life and change anything that you did, what would it be?
I wouldn't change a goddamn thing.
You're content with every bad mistake you've also made?
You have to be in order to move forward.
Right, because you're never
I
going to...
made peace with my past a long time ago, and it doesn't haunt me today. I don't walk around looking over my shoulder anymore. I'm not afraid to go to certain places and see certain things. You know, the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous talks about that if you are spiritually fit, you can be anywhere and do anything that you want to do within reason. And I believe in that. But that's my story. I hope this helps somebody.
Amen.
And if I could say anything, is that if an old cokehead junkie like me can do it, anybody can.
Right.
I love you guys. I hope you're doing well, and God bless.
Hey, thanks, Noah, man.
Yep.
Till next time.